Stars of Destiny. Sometime later in Eagleshaven, Spuvok's brother Elmian struggles to meet the intense training standards of the Warrior Academy. The academy was one of the first structures of Eagleshaven. It provided protection while the main walls were being built. Before the fortress started training future guardsmen and warriors, it was known as the Arkenwall, after its dwarfen designer, Noan Arkenwall. Known in short as Ark, it's said that Okins, large tree creatures, helped in its construction. On this particular day at the Ark, Elmian was retrying one of his elementary sword tests of chopping through a woodblock for the 7th time. "I can do it this time, I know it," the elf thought as he tightened his grip on his training sword. He exhaled with a heroic cry, lifting his sword high and swinging it down upon the woodblock. When the sword came to a stop, Elmian slightly hung his shoulders, observing that he barely nicked the woodblock. "Oh no, not again," he thought dismally. "Ha! The Felf still can't do it," one of the observing students teased. Elmian disliked the word Felf, since it was a demeaning way of calling someone, especially a Fimthorn elf, filthy. "Heh, moron," another student added. Elmian turned to give them a piece of his mind. Yet their warrior trainer, Warlord Synclax, intervened. "Knock it off, you two," he said sternly at the students. He quickly stepped in between Elmian and the students, and addressed the elf firmly. "Elmian, remember, technique must be coupled with strength for this exercise. If not, you're swinging wildly or without purpose. I want you to do 20 extra sword drills today. Perhaps during that time, you'll think upon what I said." "Yes, Master Synclax," Elmian replied, hanging his head from the shame of failing his test again. Later that day, in the Northern Nests merchant area, Elmian and Spuvok met up with each other, as was their usual on the last day of school weeks, when they got out early. The merchant area was one of their favorite places to hang out. There, they could converse and blend in with crowds, and for the most part, be free from others pestering or hassling them. That is, unless they needed to pay for something. Spuvok was looking forward to checking out the book stands with Elmian, though he enjoyed it most when they looked at swords. When he and Elmian met up, however, he immediately noticed his brother didn't appear as excited as he normally did when they were about to embark on their merchant stand adventures. The elf had an idea why. "So, how did the test go?" Spuvok mustered the courage to ask. "Man, Spuvok, I failed again today. I don't know if I'll ever pass that dumb sword test," Elmian replied in frustration. He took a deep breath and sighed. And to make matters worse, I now have to carry my training sword everywhere I go." Upon hearing the news, Spuvok lowered his head a little. "Well, it wasn't a good day for me either. My classmates tried to start a fight with me again." Elmian suddenly perked up a little, as an idea came to him. "Hey, how about we forget about all this for a while, and go explore outside the walls?" he happily suggested. Spuvok thought about it for a moment, and crossed his arms. Guess so. Not that this day could get any worse." The brothers then intuitively knew what the other was thinking. "Let's go see Orvin," they chimed together. The elf brothers excitedly but carefully weaved through the crowds of elves, dwarves, humans, and fimps to the merchant area's outer rim wall. Along it, many sellers sat with their goods spread out on the ground near their feet. The elves knew how to find Orvin, for he always sat behind a particular corner about a stone's throw away from other sellers and the main traffic of the area. Elmian and Spuvok stopped a little over an arm's distance away from Orvin, their excitement dulling some as they realized the man was somewhat annoyed at their presence. He huffed and crossed his arms. "You have a lot of nerve coming here, since your stunt last time almost landed me in trouble with the guardsmen." Orvin breathed in deep, as a sneaky, sly look replaced his perturbation. "Lucky for me, I'm good at what I do," he said confidently. Perceiving that the young elves were not just there for chit-chat, He got up from his place and scanned the area for anyone who might have a problem with his business of selling illegal items. Seeing nothing concerning, he refocused his attention back to Elmian and Spuvak. "And now," Orvin said casually, "even after our close call, you still want some shade to sneak outside the walls. Am I right? Of course, you know what I want for it." "A bundle of sweet root for a quarter bundle of shade," Spuvak spoke up quickly as he presented a small sack from his satchel. As Spuvak reached out to hand the sack to Orvin, Elmian stared at it intently. "It took us nearly a month to save up this time. Mom isn't giving us much sweet root as she used to," he thought, almost desiring that he and his brother hold on to their precious magical candy. His thoughts then drifted to Orvin when the man put out his hand toward the sack of candy. "But I wonder what Orvin does with it anyway," he pondered to himself. Spuvak dropped the sack of candy into Orvin's open palm, and the two shook hands. "Always a pleasure doing business with you," Orvin said a bit cheerfully. "Oh, and this time you better conserve enough shade to get back inside. I may not be there again if you get into trouble." The man then slipped a vial into Spuvak's eager hand. "Don't worry, we'll be more careful this time," Spuvak assured him. "We wasted a lot last time trying to get a close-up of a young basilisk. We'll be fine," he confidently assured Orvin again. "Till next time," added Elmian as he and Spuvak hurried off. "North Gates again?" suggested Elmian. "Nah, we went there last time," contested Spuvak. "Let's go to the southern gates." "Let's hurry then," said Elmian. "We don't want to be caught outside the walls when the orb goes down." The brothers excitedly nodded to each other and headed south as quickly as they could, passing the farmlands, the open fields, and the enormous evertree that made up the central heart of Eagle's Haven. They made it to the south nest in good time, for the orb was still high in the sky, beaming down its warm rays of light. Near the southern gates, the brothers used some shade. "Huh, easy as pie," said Spuvak as he dropped a handful of the sandy crystal particles over Elmian. They clung to his body, causing his image to disappear. "Hurry, let's go," said Elmian, as Spuvak covered himself with shade, and the two walked through the gates past the guards to the outside.